Hey everybody, it's Marty the JavaScript Party, and I'm doing another one of my quick videos, and this is a torus knot. It's pretty simple to put together. New 3 torus geometry, pass it in a radius, tube, I guess. I don't know what that means. Tube. So it defaults to 0.4. Let's change it to 0.4. Curious. 0.47. So it's kind of like a tube or ring with like a little dent in it. Has a very like organic look to me for some reason. It looks like a snake or something. Um, at least I think I liked the one better. And then I have 128 tubular segments. What is the default on that one? 64. Let's drop that to 64. Hit save. So we should be able to see the 3 and 1. And then it takes a minute to rebuild. I guess it already rebuilt, but so that really I don't see much of a difference. All right, so and then what was the default for radial segments? 8. Let's go back to 8. I'm guessing we won't see anything different. Yeah, I don't really perceive any difference. And I think the really interesting one is the P and the Q. And the P determines how many times the geometry winds around its axis of rotational symmetry. It expects a 2. So let's change that to a 2 for the moment. So it rotated twice around the axis, I guess. I guess that's what that is. So let's see. Yeah, that is, oh my God, that is so cool. Holy cow, that is cool. Let's see. Let's rotate around the Y and see what happens. So you might notice that like it kind of disappears and that's because our camera is limited on how deep. So if we go into the camera and we make it deeper, so see how you can only see 20, anything outside of 20 away from the camera, and this is 18. So we could make the camera closer, 16, and it probably won't. See if it's too big. Okay, so that's nice. Okay, let's rotate around the x-axis and see. So the x-axis is really neat because you get to see everything, right? Like, so from a purely practical perspective, x-axis is really neat. The y-axis is just, well, that's not, I was thinking the y-axis was trippy, but that's still kind of the same deal. It's very, very nice. So we got two curls. And then the z-axis is the one that is trippy. Wow, that is just so wild. Ugh. So that is cool. And now what is the default on the second one? I think it's 3. Yeah, 3. So I'm going to set this to 2. And I'm going to change this one to 2 instead of 3. I'll do 3 in a second. Okay, so that's wild. Oh, so yeah, I don't know. So that's neat. This is the kind of thing I think where like you can really save the day. Like if you, oh, I remember something that looks along lines that will do this. Yeah, so, all right, so now let's try 3. And that is 3. So that's the default. So that is nowhere near as trippy as the other one. Let's see. Let's see if we see anything more interesting with the Y. So I do think the Y is a little trippier. There's like some kind of little like motion. Let's try X. I think X is really neat. Let's try X with a little bit of Z. X with a little bit of Z and a little bit of Y. And that is that. Neat. Oh. Now, let's put this back to 1. And I think the next video, like I think what would be cool is if like an animation just animated the like added one to this every second. So we could just slowly see what happens as you go from 1. Let's try like 6 and see. Yeah, so then, yeah, that one seems like that would be really neat. Oh, yeah. That is so cool. Now imagine if we change this to the 128 and the 16. I bet you it'll look a little bit cleaner. 8 and then 16. Oh my gosh. I find that to be so trippy. And I just can't even imagine maybe if the camera was slowly moving through. Like if we animate the camera to slowly just kind of go in, go all the way through, and then come all the way out. I bet you that will be some kind of mental experience. And that's what it looks like. And that's cool. Let's see. And if I make them 6 and 6, I guess it just becomes kind of a circle, like a regular tube again. Is that what happens? Yeah, that's so fascinating. And then what if I made that one? Do we get something just as sort of demented as before? Oh my gosh. I guess I want to see it rotate around the X. Oh man, that is just doesn't even seem like earthly. Okay, that is wild. This feels like what they call like sacred geometries, that kind of thing. Let's get it up to 60. Oh my lord. Okay, that looks alien right there. Whereas the kids that's giving alien. So cool. Oh, oh, that's wild. So up here, from time to time, it just completely stops, but down, it looks like in the recording down there, it always goes. So I'm just slowly but surely going up. So I've kind of been doing this whole thing just so I could get a feel for how everything should work. And, um, just sort of entry level learning the basics. And I'm going to make this 3 and see what we get. I feel like this would be actually a really good like screensaver. I could imagine this being a great screensaver, and then like something that you can just have on the side to just kind of keep your uh, something to look at, like whenever you need like sort of a mental break, and then like every maybe 30 seconds or so, it just like randomly picks another two sets of numbers, and then sort of spins them around the x-axis, around the y-axis, and then around the z-axis, and then the x, and just kind of work through, and then another 30 seconds later, another random two. Um, and it would probably be neat to see the number up here, like on the right. I think that would be a really neat project, actually. Um, Maybe I'll do that. But I'm thinking first things first, I want to just have the P. I want to present the P over here, but I want it to increase by 1 every second so that I can see what happens up to like whatever 100 or whatever 1,000, however far I decide to let it go, and then one that takes the Q and moves it every second, and then maybe one that randomly picks two different numbers and once a second or once every 30 seconds. Um, well, maybe once every 5 seconds changes it, and then maybe try to come up with like a fun example, and um, and that might be a really cool page. So, anyways, I think that is really awesome. Happy coding, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Bye.